Yo, welcome to the first episode of No Box Checking. You
Let's
know how
go.
this starts off. You guys, you may not know us, so we're gonna introduce ourselves and talk about a little bit of what No Box Checking is all about and what we got to bring. Because we want to do something different than any other podcast you ever tuned into before. I'm Alfonso Augustine from a little town called Marksville, Louisiana, and I got two guys here. I got Curtis.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
And I got my guy Moose on here.
What's going on?
So Moose, Curtis, we linking up to do this podcast. It's and the name of it's No Box Checking. Let's tell the crowd, let's tell the crew what it's all about.
Well, I'll tell you, Fonz. I'm gonna go first on this one because this is an easy one for me. It's I think for me, it's you guys know me and y'all know my BS meter is really low, right? And I like to get things done and the fluff, I don't like it, right? So whenever we were talking about this, I think you made the comment first. You made the comment about not no box checking, and I love that. Let's get down to business. Let's be intentional about what we're doing.
Yeah. So this is about the auto industry, right? This is
Yep.
about the auto industry, right? So there's so many people in this industry that, like, say for instance, a salesperson, right? You ask a salesperson, did you do your calls today? Did you do everything you're supposed to do? And you go to their CRM and you see that they just checked off a bunch of things and say, oh yeah, I
Left
called them.
message, left
Oh yeah, I
message, left
texted. Yeah,
message.
yeah. So that's box checking, right? You're just
Box check.
checking it just to get through the day. You're not really trying to dig and stir the pot to find that next sale. Or sales managers just saying, hey, look, I got this little checklist of what I do every day, and I just check off. This is what I got done today. That's just checking a box, right? Or an F&I manager just going through his checklist. So no box checking is just getting through it and not really making an impact,
Yep.
right?
So, yep. So,
So what we want to do is we want to help you all become a better version of yourself and where you can make an impact every day. I don't know, Moose, am I on the same page? We on the same page here?
we all on the same page. Man, what no box checking is coming to work with a plan. It's being intentional about what you do every day. You walk into a dealership, no matter what position you're in, and ask somebody, "Hey, man, what you gonna do today?" Your salesman's gonna say, "What, man, boss? I'm gonna try to sell a car." You know,
Yeah.
hey, your GM's gonna be like, "Hey, man, what you gonna do today? We're gonna try to sell some cars." Well, look, no box checking isn't trying to sell cars. It's being intentional, coming to work with a plan and executing it, and going in and digging in with your people. That's no box checking.
And
Correct.
and Fonz, I want to add to that too. Like you may be in that mode. You may be checking boxes and not even know it. And if you are, that's okay. It doesn't matter what you've been doing. All that matters is what you're gonna do, right? And that's what we want to help people, or I do anyway. I want to help them to be intentional, like Moose was saying.
And Curtis, I think that's huge now more than ever. And I think that's the reason the three of us wanted to do this is because, man, we care about the industry. We really, care about the industry and the people that are in the industry that we're in. And look, there's so many headwinds against our industry today. We've been talking about these things and what can we do to prepare ourselves to position ourselves by not checking boxes and giving customers exceptional experiences and digging in.
You know, Curtis, you said your BS meter is real low, and that is true. We got to learn you, and your BS meter is low. And that's why I love that we're doing this podcast because customers' BS meters low.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
You got all this competition out there. Yeah, I mean, I could purchase a car right now. I could start the transaction right now on my computer on my phone and have the car delivered to me in the morning.
Yep.
The BS meter is low, and we got to cut through the BS, and we got to become the better version of ourselves to where we can maximize everything and accomplish what we doing this for.
yeah,
You're doing this to change your lifestyle. You're doing this to better yourself. You're doing this to take trips. You're doing this for you. But you also have to take care of your community. You got to take care of those people that are coming in those dealerships or the ones that we're delivering those cars to. So a little bit about me. Again, I said from Marksville, Louisiana, but actually not. I'm from a little country town outside of Marksville called Hickory Hill, Louisiana. You guys
Ooh,
didn't know nothing about Hickory Hill.
ooh.
Hickory
Yeah, yeah,
Hill.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome to the hills, baby. So down in Hickory Hill, Louisiana, my family was mainly in the construction business, and I found out a long time ago that that's not for me.
Yeah.
so my family was in the construction business. I saw my dad, leaving at 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, and he'd come back home 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. The only way I would see him, I would have to peek down the hall or when he was coming in, or peek down the hall when he was leaving out in the morning. And my dad never made more than $40,000 a year.
Whew.
Worked his tail off. I mean, I could see his boots on the weekend and his clothes on the weekend that he would strip outside because it was full of mud and stuff. And he didn't want to bring it in the house. He
Yeah,
burned the house. My mom probably would have beat his tail no matter how much he made.
yeah.
Right. So, that opened my eyes a long time ago. I got my first job when I was 11 years old, cutting grass. And I started uh, cutting grass, and I started working at a convenience store, and then I got into shoe sales. All right, I don't know, y'all know nothing about that, but little Jay Renee selling some high heel shoes to some little 70-year-old ladies. And I was digging down, little crust on their feet, whatever, putting their shoes on. But that's where I got introduced to sales
Yeah.
at 16 years old in the shoe store, and I didn't realize what I was doing. I was selling shoes, and these little elderly customers, they would like these SAS shoes, and I would put them on reoccurring orders. So every 6 months, they would get a new pair of shoes, and I didn't realize that would set me up for the car business. Crazy. you know and the owner of the store, her son-in-law actually owned a dealership in Texas, and he was like, "Oh, when you turn 18, I'm gonna get you in the car business." And I'm like, "Man, I ain't going to no car business. I'm going to college." So I started college, and it just wasn't for me. Student loans started racking up. I said, "This is a trap." Got out, said, "Oh, I'm gonna go make some money and then I'll come back." So I went in the oil field offshore, working on boats, and made some really good money. Some really good money, stacked some money away. And then I said, "You know what? This college thing isn't for me." And I saw an ad in the paper, and it said, it was from a dealership in Alexandria. It said making $50,000 a year, uh, and you home every night. I don't even know if it said that, but that's what I read.
Yep.
Because every holiday I was on this boat. I was missing every holiday and everything, and and when I saw that ad, I was like, "It's on." So I went there, put my shirt and tie on, and I asked a dumb question, Curtis. Well, they say it was a dumb question. I said, "Do y'all sell a car every day?" And they were like, "We're gonna sell multiple cars every day." Well, I didn't know. I was just
Yeah,
asking. I didn't know anything
yeah.
about the car business. My parents, they never purchased a brand new car. I had several used cars. So I didn't really know. And then got the job after going back and forth for a while. I started at 20 years old. I had to be 21 to work at that dealership to drive their cars. And they made an exception. They said, "As long as you got a clean driver record, uh, we'll write a letter to the insurance company so you could sell cars." So I started off selling cars. That was 2005, selling cars, and then worked my way into management, and just been management all throughout. I tapped in early into my leadership skills, and that's what this podcast is all about. Being able to give back. I think we're on this earth not to just consume. We're here to help others, and I just I want to share some tips and some nuggets to where somebody's out there right now that this is a job,
Mm,
and they on Indeed in the morning, or they on
yeah,
Indeed at night,
Yep.
looking for the next job.
Yep.
yeah,
And I just want to let them know that you don't have to do that anymore. You can
yeah.
stop that right here, right now, and we're gonna give you the tips, and we're gonna walk along with you how you can turn this thing into a career. So that's about your boy Fonz from Hickory Hill, Louisiana.
All right, so a little bit about me, y'all. Mustafa Muhammad, go by Moose. I born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, not Hickory Hill or wherever that is, Louisiana. But Baton Rouge, been here my whole life. Son of first generation here. My dad immigrated here from Iraq, and with a little chip on the shoulder, and always hard work was instilled, and I went, LSU, did my deal, and once I wrapped up with that, sales just kind of fell into my lap. When I was studying at LSU in high school, I worked at Curtana Mall slinging watches, y'all. Does that surprise you?
Does
I
not.
worked for shout out Mr. Singh in the mall at a little kiosk, and look, people would come to change their battery in their watches, and I'd be over there selling them a new watch, right? So, sales, it's always been kind of in me, and fell into the lap of the car business, like I think all of us do, a lot of us do. I actually worked overseas for a couple years, and came back and started selling cars here locally in Baton Rouge. Started selling and sold for a couple years and went through management. And, like Fawn said, I think the reason we're doing this is because our passion. One thing you'll see about the three of us is we've had different experiences in different facets of the business, and together, our sole mission is to give back to salespeople, to what Fawn said, to turn this into careers. Because look, y'all, we're examples, from different backgrounds, from different, areas that just fell along together on different missions. And look, it's been a great path. And that's what the car business did for us.
Yeah.
So along the road, like Fawn said, dig in with us. We're gonna give you the roadmap of what it takes to get to the next level. What you say, Curtis?
Well, I kind of feel like I'm sitting here thinking about us. Where people are probably thinking we're a weird joke. You got a black guy, a racky guy, and a white guy. Uh, but so I started a little bit different. Like Fonz was saying, I grew up. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. That's where I grew up, and I actually found out I was meant for sales. Me and my brother would find bikes that people were throwing away, and we would go and fix them up and sell them. And if you could sell them back to the person that was trying to throw them away, you won. So we would go and put new tires and fix the handlebars, whatever was broken, and ride them around, try to sell them. But that's kind of where I started. But I did construction in high school and did some like power washing and stuff. And then when I graduated high school, I worked for it was a wholesale company, a sporting good wholesale company while I went to college. I went to college at night. I went to LSU S, which is Shreveport's version of LSU, and went to college at night 4 nights a week, and then I was working during the day, and then I worked at a gym on the weekend, and I mean, I was working myself to death, making about 30 grand a year, and I actually moved to Washington State. Kind of a crazy story. That's where I started in the car business. But, I started there and I couldn't believe, kinda like what Fonz was saying, how many cars were being sold and, like, if you would just do a good job and take care of customers, they would buy and ask them to buy, they would buy from you. And, so anyway, I worked at a Toyota store for a while, and then I moved back home to Shreveport. I was 20 as well, Fonz, when I started. Um so I moved back to Shreveport, and then I sold for a few years, and then did finance for a few years, and then was at a BMW store as a desk manager, and then they promoted me to GSM. And I've been in 16 years now, and it's crazy. I was thinking while Fonz was talking, just my journey. And Moose said it. We all have different paths. We all come from different backgrounds. But man, what a blessing the car business has been for me.
Mhm.
And there were times. I mean, I'll say this: there were times where I felt like it was a job, and I didn't know where it was going for me specifically. But I found I had a couple of people that poured into me a little bit, and then myself working hard, like Moose was saying, hard work was instilled in me from a young age, and with that hard work. what the car business has done for me is changed my life. I was sleeping on an air mat on a box spring, excuse me, when I started in the car business, and, just struggling to get by, and it changed my life. And I wanna give back. That's the main point of doing this is trying to help other people share ideas, and just be that soundboard. Sometimes you just need an outside opinion or an outside coach to help you push through those tough times, and it's not a job, it's a career. The car business has been really good to us 3 specifically, just us sitting here talking in this room, but I wanna give back, and that's the reason why I wanna do it. I'm very passionate about it. You'll hear more of that later on, but, it's just it's been such a blessing for me to be in the car business.
You see, you give Fonz a shiny toy, and he was over here plotting, right? So y'all just get ready for Fonz with the
welcome to No
animations.
Box Checking,
He
baby.
he go,
So
Mr.
look,
DJ.
I'm just waiting for Fonz to start talking about no box checking because we've been all pretty chill until Fonz starts talking about that. I know it's gonna get real ramped up. Listeners, be aware. When Fonz starts talking about people checking boxes, he's gonna get real passionate.
Hey, welcome to No Box Checking. Hey, look, this is dang, this is gonna be awesome. Like I said, we're gonna talk about maybe even talk about a little love.
Oh.
We're talking about, hey, look, let's be real. If you're in a relationship and you're in the car business, that could be tough.
Yeah.
That could be tough.
You ain't lying.
The other side has to understand, and you got to have somebody in your corner that you can have a conversation with.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to have that support at home. So man, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, we make great money, but where is the money?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where's the savings? Where's the investing? We see so many salespeople, salesmen, see so many people in the car business make great money. And then it's like, they still trying to rub two pennies together to try to figure it out or waiting on that next check. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, again, that person that's looking for that next job. We're going to talk about that person that just has all the tools in the toolbox, has all the words, but can't close the deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that person that's, it's 3 days for the end of the month and they don't have enough commission to cover their mortgage.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the steps. We're going to talk about the steps how to get there. Now, look, we won't interfere with what your dealership wants you to do. Your dealership has a process, and you have to follow that process. But we're going to give you some tools to enhance and be better and take care of your customers, take care of your community, and be the better version of yourself, get to the next level. Just not coming in, coming in the dealership without a plan. You're going to show up, like Moose said, you're going to show up with a plan and ready to go.
Yep.
So now, man, I'm so excited. This is big to me. I know it's big to all of you. We talked about this for a while. It's just like there's so many people out there. There are some other podcasts out there. We viewed and we listened to some of these other podcasts, and not to downgrade those other podcasts, but we want to hit every level. We want to hit that person that's struggling, that's trying to make ends meet. We want to be there. We don't want to talk about just, the person that's making six figures already. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun.
Well, Fonz,
Curtis,
do this, Fonz. So I think you and Moose were talking about the podcast, first because y'all kind of brought it to me. Man, what was that conversation like when y'all first started talking about the podcast? Like, I know we've kind of talked about why, what no box checking is, but what's the real passion behind all of it?
So,
go ahead. Me and Moose and I, we talk every day,
Mhm.
all day long. And some people would think that we having random conversations. My 3-year-old, he's like, every time I answer the phone, is that Uncle Moose? Is that Uncle Moose? He calls him Uncle Moose. He's ready to go to Uncle Moose's house, so he won't sleep in his own bed right now. So Moose should come pick him up,
Come on,
get him
let's
out.
go.
Moose got his own that's doing that.
Let's go. Yeah, you ain't lying.
But man, we just have all these conversations, and we see all these different people going through different situations, and we can help some, but we can't help all. And I think this will put us on a bigger platform to be able to help more people, uh, and do it on their time.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and just so the listeners know too, like we're not going to get into it that much, but we're training right now. That's kind of our job. We go into, I mean, between the three of us, we probably go into 120 dealerships or so. So we're in dealerships a lot. We see a lot. So the things that we're talking about are stuff that we see every day. People struggling with it, and it's crazy how many salespeople right now are looking for a job.
Truth.
Fonz talked about that earlier. Moose, I can't remember which one, but man, it's like so many people are like trying to find a job versus, and they feel lost. And most of that's from lack of training because they don't feel confident in their
Yep.
abilities or their situation,
Yep.
right?
And Curtis, that's the reason you asked earlier of why we felt the need to do this, man, is what you just said. Is going into those dealerships and seeing from not just one level, but every level. Look, you need somebody in your corner. I mean, everybody. You look at any successful car person. You said it. I didn't say it, but I got one. We all had somebody that took us, that developed us, that
hmm
that made us go do the hard work, that, made us go dig in and learn, made us go do it. But y'all, we don't see that today. We don't see it. We don't see it as much today. So the reason that this podcast birthed is because y'all will see it. The three of us are passionate about what we do. We're passionate about the business. We're passionate about the way you go about the business by enhancing a customer's experience, therefore yielding more car deals, more profit, more everything. So this right here is for daily tips and tricks. We're going to talk about stats and everything, but we're going to dig in on what you could do tomorrow. So Curtis, what you could do tomorrow to go implement and put money on the table. That's what no box checking is.
Yeah.
So y'all, Moose, you hit the nail on the head. So I was early on in the car business, and this guy named Joel took me underneath his wing. Y'all, I told y'all I'm from the country. I was paying my bills with money orders.
Yep.
I kid you not, until my money orders got stolen, and they wouldn't recover them. So I was paying my bills with money orders. I'm left-handed. My handwriting is terrible. Joe was like, dude, type your credit apps out. If you want to be in this business, type your credit apps out and
Yep.
stop paying your bills
Yep.
with money orders.
Yep.
And then Joe turned the screen one day and he showed me his 401k.
Yep.
Let's go.
Y'all, I'm just going to be real with y'all right now. My daddy dead and gone. I'm being real. Ain't never had a 401k.
Yeah.
Married for over 50 years, working for over 50 years, and never had a 401k.
Yeah.
They had a black sock. They had the suit coat where they would hide the money in the inside pocket.
Yeah.
Didn't trust a bank. There was no such thing as investing. Investing was him getting some new rubber boots. That was investing.
Yeah.
And putting food on the kids' table. That's just real stuff, But Joel helped me turn this thing from a job to a career, and a couple other people along the way. But he opened my eyes, And when I saw that 401k, Moose,
It was on, baby.
I said, "What?"
It was on. And we can the cool thing about that is we could all share the story. I mean, Curtis, you got yours. We talk about it. I got mine. I mean, I was a troubled, F&I guy that was a last ditch effort, because I just nobody poured into me. I just did what I saw other people do. And moved me to a store to say, your last shot, you get to you out. And my guys, at that dealership showed me how to do it the right way. Showed us how you do it the right way. Showed us how you work with customers. Show you how you do little incremental changes. And y'all, it changed for me. And Curtis, I bet you could share something similar. So that's what we aim to do with this.
Yeah, I had a guy, it's kind of funny. When I was in Washington State, there was a guy that was actually from Louisiana, which, it's kind of crazy how that happens, but he kind of motivated me, and he told me, he's like, you could be very successful. One, they loved my accent up there. Nobody else had an accent in Washington State like that, but he said I could be very successful. And then, so he kind of poured into me some. And then there was I had a pretty strong mentorship when I moved to Shreveport. There was a guy named Joel too. Kind of funny, Fonz. My guy was named Joel as well, and he mentored me all the way actually through, like through management and being a GSM and all that stuff too. So, I mean, man, I'm very thankful for that because I was not supposed to be successful. I don't think any of us were on that road. And the car business, I'm being for real, the car business saved my life.
Yeah.
You know,
So, when you was in Washington State and you put that accent on them, how many dates you got there, Curtis?
oh man, let me tell you something. The middle-aged ladies, they love the accent. Love it. I didn't do it.
All right
I didn't
now.
do it.
Who's listening? Who's listening?
I'm talking about car sales, man. Car sales.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you.
Uh,
Look, it's crazy. The things that we've done, the things that you have to do. Y'all, if you probably hearing me right now, you probably can't see me, but I wear a beard. I started growing a beard because I have a little booty chin. Just with a little I got a little split at the bottom of my chin. And the customers was like, "You're just a kid. Like, how old are you?" And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna grow a doggone beard." And I grew that beard, man. It was on. It was on. So, and look, when you get a taste of this business and you get that really nice commission check, it's like, what?
hooked.
Oh, it is on.
Yeah, hooked.
It's
Yeah.
on. So some of us just it doesn't work for all of us, but some of us have to get a taste of that and then it's on. Some of us want to go to the football games and travel and things like that. But guess what? That takes money.
Yeah.
That takes money. And there's some young people in the car business right now. Young. I'm talking about like when we started, young.
Uh-huh.
And you may be thinking, "Oh, I don't want to work all these hours and all this stuff." But guess what? If you want to build a family,
Yeah.
if you want to go on these trips, if you want to have retirement, get it in right now.
Yeah.
Set your future self up.
Also, yep.
I don't regret anything that ever happened in my life, you know, and I can't say, some people like, "Curtis, if I had to do it all over again," I really can't say that because I started in the business at 20 years old and
Yeah.
I had somebody check me from the neck up and screw my head on right within the first 2 months in the business. So I really don't have that story.
Well, we might have to get into those, stories some other times, but I'm sure how we all really got in the car business is pretty wild. I know my story is, but, you know, it's a continual thing for me, like, I'm gonna talk about this a lot, so I'm just gonna get out of the way, but being grateful for what I have, and, sometimes it's like a surreal, but when I was young, kinda like you were saying, Fonz, the thing that was so hard for me is my friends on Saturday, would be going to do things and I was going to
Mm.
work, you know?
Yeah.
And it wasn't I didn't always make a lot of money when I first started in the car business, and it was a grind, and I worked a lot of hours. I was there early, I stayed late, for whatever negatives I had, I worked hard, and I was trying and it really panned out for me, but it took a little while for me to figure it out for sure. And, that was difficult when my friends would be, going to the lake or going do whatever, and I'm going to work, and sometimes they gave me a hard time about it, my friends would sometimes even my family members would say stuff like, hey, why are you working so much? Why don't you get a job where you got more free time? We can spend more time together. But it's really paid off for me.
Yep. So most we're gonna close this thing out. We don't want to give them too much of the stories, right?
Yeah,
I
so
mean, shoot, I mean, how many podcasts we're gonna be able to
so
do if we give it?
so Fonz, Curtis, I think, just wrapping this all together, y'all. Quick episode 1, quick little intro telling you guys about who we are and what we gonna do and the intent of what we gonna do. Now, Fonz, Curtis, who should hop on this podcast? You work in any type of sales? What type of sales? Y'all tell us who should dig in on here.
Well, definitely, salespeople, sales managers, F&I managers, dealers, dealer principals, GMs, everybody at the front of the store that's selling. Shoot, even if you're selling shoes or French fries, you probably need to jump on this podcast because we're gonna get nitty and gritty with it, and and we're gonna show you, what's the makeup of sales.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, some people just think it's dollars and cents. It's not.
No.
It's not. It's far from that. That's the end result. That we get the commission, but it's a lot more to it. And like I said, I don't want to give up too much, man. We got to go 1,000 episodes,
Here we go.
2,000 episodes. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, I say we wrap this up, and we'll be back. Tune in next time for we got something really good coming next time. Might be talking about something that's really hot on the press right now. AI.
Let's go.
Ah,
No box
All
checking,
right.
y'all. Let's go.
no
All right, no
box
box
checking.
Checking.
Welcome to